So, question was, how did you get 1910, SDR Sharp 1910 to work with Meteor Just? And it actually turned out to be quite the adventure. This is my 8th attempt at this video. I finally remembered how I did it. So, first thing you got to do is go over here to Les Hamilton's webpage. Click Software, scroll down, click MeteorGis Installation Pack. You're going to go down here and click this button, and download the MeteorGis installer file. So that'll get you the MeteorGis suite. I've already downloaded that. Then you'll have to find a copy of 1910, which I'll include a link to with some added files. One of the files is like, with every version of SDR Sharp, to get it to function with RTL SDR blogs or to no elect, you have a huge problem trying to get the lib RTL SDR deal to find the right one that works with the newest version as they come along. And after some searching and looking on Google Groups, Groups.io, some other posts on people's blogs, I came across this Kennard's deal. And so I went down over here and I downloaded the deals and then renamed them like the instructions said to do. And those have made it to where my regular runner is SDR Sharp 1910 for DXing, and it runs flawless. I can run the frequency scanner. I've left that frequency scanner running for well over 8 hours, no hiccup. Come back, stop the scanner, move the spectrum around, go to frequency. I could hit stop, play, adjust the gain, nothing, and it doesn't die. And when I hit stop and close it, it closes. It doesn't hang up. So it's been working great. And so then I decided to give it a shot to replace the older version SDR Sharp that comes in the MeteorGis suite. So we're going to use these deals, which are these deals, and I will, as we put this together, our finished SDR Sharp folder, I will rezip and then put a link up to download it. So the other thing is at HappySat's GitHub site. This is what was getting me earlier because I thought I got it from here. If you scroll down to software, and it's got a download for the Meteor Demodulator plugin and the DDE tracking client. Well, the tracking client loaded fine in SDR Sharp, but I kept getting plugin errors for the Meteor Demodulator. And then I remembered this is what I went through when I was originally plugging away at it. And what you end up having to do is back when you could still download the SDR Sharp community with the plugins and that RU site was still up, you'd go over here and this is the list of the plugins you could get. And so like the DDE tracker, you go over here, they still have it here, huh? So they still have the DDE tracker over here, but that's not exactly the one we want. Let's see. The Meteor Demodulator. The site no longer functions. And so I just so happened that I had installed and then saved the folder onto an external hard drive, an instance of the SDR Sharp community version. So I had gone over here to my SDR Sharp community version. It was back in 1909, and opened it up, went to the plugins folder, and then they had the DDE tracker and the Meteor Demodulator. So what I did was I copied these into my SDR Sharp folder. So let's go ahead and grab these real quick. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close that out. Now, what we're going to do is, see, here's all the errors that I was getting when I was trying to run the run off of Happy Site's GitHub page. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to extract the MeteorGis suite. So I'm going to extract that. And then we're going to go in, and the SDR Sharp is the older version. You can delete this or rename it. I'm going to rename it. I'm a hoarder when it comes to files and software, so I'm just going to add old at the end. We'll go back to our working folder for this video. I'm going to extract the SDR Sharp 1910. And we're going to rename this folder as it had the SDR Sharp folder in here. So we're going to copy this part. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to rename this folder. Now we're going to copy our keynard deals so that SDR Sharp will function nicely with our blog v3s and our no-elect dongles. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to paste those in there. Next, we're going to go over here and we're going to copy those two plugin folders that we got from the community version of SDR Sharp. We're going to copy those and we're going to open the SDR Sharp folder and we're just going to stick those in the plugin folder. There's no need to edit the plugin XML or nothing. We're just going to put them in there. Now we're going to copy that SDR Sharp. We're going to put it in the MeteorGis folder. Now, the most important thing, we're going to copy this MeteorGis folder and we're going to put it in our C drive. So I'll make sure I don't have nothing named MeteorGis in here right now. We're clear. This has to be in the C drive folder because the other programs in it are going to be looking for that file structure. So like when you run a MeteorGis, it's going to look for the LRPT decoder in C drive MeteorGis. So we got to maintain that structure. All right. So now we'll fire up SDR Sharp. All right. Never opens up to the size of my screen the first time around. Okay. So right off the bat, we don't need any of this stuff. So I'm going to open these up and close them so they're gone. Because we don't need those to catch our meteor images. All right, source. So we got to select our source. RTL SDR USB dongle. I don't need this window anymore. Set our bandwidth to 120,000. I always set this to 8. I don't know what would be best. That's what I just set it to. Display, we're going to leave it default, so I'm going to close that. Leave the frequency manager in case somebody wants to play around with that. Alright, so I'm going to set this to auto hide because we don't need to mess with anything more in there. Now we're going to go up here. Now when you run an SDR Sharp, even when you're doing the settings, it's good to have a dongle plugged in, even if it's not hooked to an antenna, because it's going to be looking for that dongle, or it's going to give you issues. So the dongle is plugged in. So what we need to do here is, I notice most people like to use a 0.9 sample rate. Okay, if you use an LNA, I got the Noelec Sawbird for NOAA, and if I use the LNA, then I usually put my settings, my gain, around 12 to 14 with none of these checked. But without an LNA, I use a tuner AGC by itself. I figure out what my PPM is on my dongle, and that's how I run it. And that's with the V-dipole. Reception with the quadrifield helix seems to be quite a bit better on some of them. So, adjust as you see fit for your setup. So we can close that. That's good to go. So we go to 137.1. With SDR Sharp, as you know, every time you open it, you got to go over here to the zoom and make some adjustments because they're like cranked. So I usually, for the dongles, I drop this one down about that bar, and then I move this one up 1 or 2 clicks, kind of adjust them so it's get a decent floor noise up here where you can watch it. And so now we're running at that sample rate. This is some local noise around here. Okay, so we made the zoom adjustment. We got all that. We can go ahead and stop that. Now we'll click on this pancake, and we'll go down here, and there's our 2 plugins. So we'll click on the Meteor Demodulator. Give it a little more space over here so we can read it all. So we know we're using OQPSK 7200. People run auto. You're going to scroll down here to this configure, and this may say, like in the suite with the older version, it says / MeteorGis and then the S file. So we need to click this select folder, and we're going to our C drive, to our MeteorGis folder, and we're going to select our S file folder and hit select folder. So the demodulator knows to put its information in the S file folder so that the LRPT decoder knows where to find it. So we're going to hit OK there. So we're dockable there for now. Then we'll go back down again to plugins, hit our DD tracking client. So on our DD tracking client, we'll click options, make sure it's set for Orbitron. Then we're going to click our config. So new plugin, no satellites in here. So what do? So we got to add a new satellite. So we know that our satellite name is Meteor-M_32. Let's see, let's go double check. So let's go to Celeste Track, current data, weather, scroll down here to the bottom. So here's the name that they've chosen for now for the satellite. We're going to copy that, shrink that back down. We're going to put this up here. Now, important thing is, in this configurator, there can't be no spaces. So we got to backspace the 3 and then put an underscore like that. Now, I'll include a text link for this. These are the settings that we have to put in there. It's the same settings you probably have now in your other SDR Sharp plugin, Demodulator plugin. So we're going to copy and paste those into here. And now we're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and close this. Everything's good here. We're going to close SDR Sharp. Go back to our main MeteorGis folder that's in the C drive. And we're going to open up Orbitron. We're going to run Orbitron. Okay, first thing we're going to do is click this gear icon for the settings. And first time you run this, you need to click the auto so it'll adjust to your time. World map, that little star, I can barely see it. So I click this lock button and I change it to ISIS and it gives me a nice big satellite picture. You'll see it right there. And then you see it move the satellite to adjust for my time zone. TLA updater, we go ahead and update that. Should be doing it every time you start it. And then the next thing, these two we can skip. We go to extra and we want to click auto start rotor radio drivers. Hit apply and then hit OK. Next we go to our location. So I got mine saved over here. So my longitude, you're going to put your lat and your long in. Put a sign or a name. It don't matter what you put in here. It's just going to identify you where your location is at. Name could be the same sign name or your location, whatever you feel like putting in there that you'll remember. So we've edited all that. Do your altitude, add to list, then it'll be over here, and then hit choose. And now you see it's moved me over to my actual location. Next thing, make sure we're clicked on our satellite. We're going to go over to radio rotor and 137,100. It's good. FMY, that's good. Everything looks good. This is all preset when they redid the MeteorGis suite. So we're good there. We can close Orbitron. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the main MeteorGis folder in the C drive. We're going to open up MeteorGis. We're going to go down to MeteorGis configurator. We're going to click on the default any. Here it's going to make sure that your MeteorGis folder and your LPRT decoder look for the right folder structures. Just in case infrared comes back, I click those. I like to save the TLE in case I want to go back and decode something manually. And keep scrolling down. Watermark. So do you want that where it gives the satellite name, the pass time, and all that up there in the top right corner? You could choose another spot for it. You can change the color of the watermark if you want. Draw location. So this will put a little plus signal at your location as it builds the image. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Put your lat and long in. I got my lat in the clipboard right now from we did it in Orbitron. So there, capture my longitude, copy, paste. So I know a lot of the like city colorings and whatnot are, one of them uses blue, so I always change to a different color for that. Crank up the size a little bit so I can see it. And that's all for this tab. Now we go to the LRPT decoder. Okay, so they've adjusted the link Carl, USradioguy, was kind enough to host the link on his site so we can get the proper current TLE. Now, when you run the MeteorGis, it'll still have one error because this link no longer works. So if you look over there and you see the error and it kind of agitates you seeing an error, you can post Carl's link in that one too. And it's using Meteor 2.3 is using this one, but putting it here will get rid of the error, so you can be done with that. I like to click the log option so I can go back and look if I had issues. And we'll scroll down. The alpha delta has worked for me. My coastlines match up. Treatment, I just left as it is. Make sure the black line's filled because it gives you a better looking image. Shapes goes all the way up to 5. I usually have 4, but I accidentally put it on 5 and it's got mountains and stuff now, so I'm gonna leave it at 5. Click File, Save, and close that. Alright, so we've done our SDR Sharp, we've done our Orbitron, and we've done the Meteor Just. So all we got to do now is open our Orbitron folder, open Orbitron. Orbitron's going to open up our SDR Sharp. SDR Sharp 1910. Alright, so if we go to our Orbitron, let me shrink this a little more. You still see the waterfall in the spectrum. Alright, bring that Orbitron up over here. Okay, so we're going to click simulation here just to test it out. I'm going to advance by minutes, hours, so we'll go by minutes. And then we'll use this to force a pass onto us. It's AOS. Why don't you start? We may have a name problem. Let's look here. Options. Did I forget to hit scheduler? Maybe that's it. Oh, you gotta make sure you put a check mark in scheduler. So, satellite comes into play, kicks in the tracker with the scheduler checked. Receive the TLEs. Okay, no errors. Waiting for lock. So that's that. So we'll go back there. Out of range, it stops. This is still waiting for a lock. Let's see if we got any, yeah, I guess you see. So it's all working like it should. So I will zip this up, and the only thing you'll have to do is you'll put it in you'll rename the SDR Sharp folder, delete it in your MeteorGis folder, and then you'll drop this in there and edit your info, your location, and your time in Orbitron, and it should be good to go. Let's do this one more time. Oh, we don't need that. So in our C drive, our MeteorGis folder, our Orbitron starts. Orbitron starts SDR Sharp for us. We'll simulate. Notice it. I don't know why. Let's see. I'm going to close this to make sure. So I'm going to put a check mark and then close this to see if it saves that setting. I want this all functional when I download it. Alright, it saved it. Okay, so now C drive, MeteorGis, Orbitron, run the Orbitron. Orbitron opens SDR Sharp. The check mark's still there. And we'll fake our way into a pass. But I went a little too fast. But you can see it opened. I'll do it one more time. For giggles, I went a little too fast there in my simulation. So Orbitron. SDR Sharp, our check marks there still. We'll go to simulation. Go 5 minutes since I went too fast last time. Simulation, and it barely reaches me. But it fired up SDR Sharp. Fired up Meteor Just. The Demodulator plugin is running, waiting for a lock. When it gets that lock, the TCP in the file socket should start. There we go. It's just waiting on data, but there's no satellite there. So that should work. Sorry about my video. I'm not the best YouTube video making dude, so hopefully this helps you out. Maybe get you working with 1910, a more current version. We will catch you on the other side.